Hey everybody, I am your host Elad. Today I'm reporting to you from New York City at a GOP is guilty and Trump is guilty protest. Let's go talk to some folks, see what's going on. Ooh, I like your button. Can I see your button? Moscow Mitch. Do you think Mitch is a commie?
I think he's a Russian asset, or he's working for one of them is. Somebody's Putin's bitch, you know?
Do you think Bernie's a commie?
No, he's a socialist. I mean,
Well, Lenin famously said socialism leads to communism, right?
don't quote me on that. I don't know.
Absolutely. Do you think the GOP is doing election fraud, committing election fraud?
I think they're obstructing justice, sure. There's no trial. There wasn't a trial.
Do you think the Democrats are doing a good job in Iowa?
I don't know. I'm focusing on this right now. Out now. Out.
But when it comes to corrupt elections, no Democrat business in Iowa?
I don't know.
Guilty!
As charged!
Guilty!
As charged!
Guilty!
As charged!
Lock him up.
Excuse me,
Throw
sir.
them out.
Can I see your sign?
What, the other side of it?
Yeah. Oh. Vote the maggots out, lock them up. Is there any chance I could ask you some questions?
Sorry?
Is there any chance I could ask you some questions about your sign?
For who?
For my YouTube channel, I'm independent.
What?
Tell me a little bit more about the hammer and sickle, and then it's an American hammer, it looks like.
It's a GOP hammer.
It's a GOP hammer.
The GOP selling out to Russia. It's Putin's puppet, giving up the GOP to Russia.
Are you suggesting the GOP are commies?
I'm suggesting that the GOP supports a Putin lover.
Yeah. Do you think communism is bad? Because that's a hammer and sickle. You're showing the GOP surrounding it.
To me, Putin and Russia and the hammer and sickle are all the same symbol. GOP sold out to Russia.
I know we had this whole Russiagate scandal going on for multiple years. Didn't the Mueller report show that there was no collusion between Trump and the Russians?
I think that's a mischaracterization on your part.
Absolutely. So what is it? Didn't Mueller's report say there was no collusion?
I think Mueller's report said that the Trump campaign was happy to receive help from Russia, and that there are still, I'm not exactly sure, but there's still evidence to be found about the collusion.
Yeah. Do you think the Russiagate stuff would have been a better thing to impeach on than the Ukrainegate stuff? Do you think the Ukrainegate was the best case?
I think there's so many cases to be made, you had to pick one.
We're complaining a lot about the GOP, but are you satisfied with how the Democrats have been running stuff?
Several hundred bills on Mitch McConnell's desk.
Yeah, right now, I think that gentleman said it correctly. There are several hundred bills sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk.
Especially with how the Democrats performed in Iowa. You think they're doing a good job? Like we're talking about defending democracy. Do you think the Democrats are doing a good job defending democracy in Iowa?
I will support whichever candidate comes out and makes a statement that they will appoint a special prosecutor to have a public investigation of wrongdoing during the Trump administration.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time.
Hey, ho, ho, stupid maggots gotta go, hey, 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 hey, ho, ho, stupid maggots got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho, Donald Trump has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho, Donald Trump has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho,
Hey everybody, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Really helps with the algorithm. Enjoy the rest of the show. So we're out here today in New York City. This sign says we are now in a dictatorship. Let's walk and talk.
Yep.
Could you tell me why your sign says we are now in a dictatorship?
Because he's got the Republicans control the Senate, and they're all behind Trump, and so they're not calling him to his actions. He's not responsible for his actions. He can do anything he wants, and that's why he's going to try and cancel the 2020 elections. By what will happen is there'll be threats against polling stations, and so what he'll do is he'll postpone the elections for people's safety. At that point,
You genuinely believe he'll postpone the elections?
Yes.
Why?
Well, there'll be some people will end up making threats against polling stations, which gives him an excuse.
Do you have any evidence of that?
No, but that's what I think will happen, because he wants to impose martial law. Once he imposes martial law, we're done. We're finished.
So in 2016, I thought he won via the Electoral College. How is he a dictator?
First of all, the Electoral College doesn't represent the people properly.
On purpose.
Yes, but the other thing that you got to look at is he's a dictator because he's breaking the law all the time. He's lying to us all the time.
Do you think Trump has unilateral power in the U.S. right now?
Pretty much he can do what he wants.
I know one of his big campaign promises was building this wall. We haven't gotten this wall yet. If he was a dictator, you think we might have gotten that wall already?
We haven't got that wall because people are trying to stop it being built.
Okay.
It shouldn't be built.
Many people are saying right now that the GOP they're committing election fraud. Do you believe the GOP is committing election fraud right now with what they're doing?
No. What I believe is with Mexico and those other countries, we need to give them aid, and then people will stop trying to come into our country as much. If we put the money that we're putting towards a wall to actually putting it towards aid with those countries, we wouldn't have this problem.
So bribe these countries to have them not have illegal immigrants come to us.
Not bribe them.
Okay.
Not bribe them.
Foreign aid, is that not bribery? Kind of feels like it.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's democratic socialism. Helping poorer people is socialism. If we don't help the poorer people, they're not going to care about climate change. If we don't give them education, if we don't give them Medicare for all, they're not going to care about climate change. Don't you have children? Don't you have other people you care about on this planet?
Well, don't we already have a burdened system right now within the U.S.? Social Security is about to implode. Then we also have many veterans that don't have insurance. And then also we have we have a ballooning homeless problem here in New York City.
Medicare Levy Australia. 3 words, search it.
Control. Don't talk to
I
him.
know. 3 words, search it. 2% of your taxable income.
Thank you.
Your health care costs for the year, if it's $50,000 taxable income, or $1,000.
Okay.
No co-pays, no deductibles.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you'll try and turn what I say.
What did I lie about?
You should be ashamed of yourself.
What did I lie about?
I'm at the demonstration right now.
1,000 to 1 if you get no fights. Probably not.
Should I be scared?
No, you just shouldn't act like an asshole.
Sounds like a threat, buddy.
He does it, but then beat me up.
You're threatening me. You're saying there's 1,000 people and that I'm only one
Because
person.
you're picking a fight with that guy, running after him with your stupid little
He was yelling at
microphone.
me.
Fine,
Okay.
then let it go because you're a big man.
He's older than me. He's a bigger man now. And you're a bigger man than me too. So let it go.
What are you trying to do?
I'm asking you. Why are you coming up to me? What's wrong?
Because you got a microphone and you're recording me.
Okay.
This man is an agitator!
Looks like it, yeah. Yeah, what? No, it's interesting.
You want me to tell you why I'm out here? I'm trying to interview people and talk to them.
Okay.
Yeah. So can you tell me more about this 1,000 to 1 stuff?
Yeah, you're acting like an asshole and trying to get into a fight.
Yeah.
So I said, if you do manage to provoke somebody into busting your face, which they will, probably, then and if you try to fight them, you've got 1,000 people and 75 cops who will arrest your ass.
Yeah.
Okay?
And how am I inciting violence against myself right now?
Because you're running after that guy saying, "You calling me a liar?" That's bullshit. That's
He was
that's
yelling
Trump
at me
kind
and-
of shit.
Oh, okay. Very nice. And Trump's president, right? Anything else you want to say, buddy?
Yeah, you're an asshole.
So we're out here today in New York City at this Impeach Trump protest. This one says, you have a sign that says Nullus Rex, non regnum.
Nullus Rex, it's Latin for no king, never a kingdom. The American Revolution was against the British monarchy. When you hear Alan Dershowitz say, "Oh, we rebelled against the parliamentary system of England," that is another lie. It's not been covered.
Do you think Trump's acting like a king in the United
Absolutely.
States? How so?
He's acting more like a czar, a vassal czar. Name me a policy that is not in the interest of Vladimir Putin.
Well, he's trying to build the wall on the southern border, but he hasn't been successful in that.
Don't build a wall, build bridges.
But
build
if he was a king,
infrastructure.
wouldn't he have been able to get that wall built?
That's a ridiculous question. I'm sorry, sir.
Because there's no wall right now. He says he wants the wall. Do you really think he's able to act unilaterally?
They said that he can do whatever they want. They argued on the floor of the Senate.
I don't think that's exactly what Alan Dershowitz was asking. I wanted to ask, now that Trump's been acquitted, what's
I'm
the
not going
plan?
to believe you. I believe my own eyes and ears, like people with souls do.
What did I say wrong? That was wrong.
That's what Dershowitz said. No king, never a kingdom. We rebelled against a king. No one is above the law. Trump disrespects law enforcement because he disrespects the law. Do you want dishonesty? Do you accept dishonesty from this man here filming you?
Do I accept dishonesty?
Dishonesty.
Well, now the question will be,
Outright lying.
Do you think he was honestly elected in 2016?
It's an open question. But there is no question about him lying. Dishonesty. Do you want dishonesty in your family?
No,
From
I
your
don't want
friends?
dishonesty in
In
government.
your workplace?
I think a lot of these politicians are
Do you
dishonest.
believe that anyone is above the law?
No.
Do you believe that Ukraine is about Joe Biden?
Yes.
No, it isn't. It is about the conquest of the Ukraine
Well,
by
Do you think there's any conflict of interest with Hunter Biden working on a foreign exec board?
Actually, I don't think that's an issue at all. It's a smokescreen.
So you don't think you're comfortable with that type of soft corruption? You're okay with,
It's not soft corruption.
So
That's
have
all
the-
allegations. All they ever.
Hunter
The-
Biden was getting paid by a foreign exec board.
As a private business, as
Sure,
as
but while-
are all the Trump
while
children.
Joe
as are
Biden's vice
everyone.
president,
As you're being paid.
I'm not, I mean, yeah, but I'm working for my money. There's no nepotism involved here. Last
Look,
question. One last question for you.
look,
If Trump was
corporate
reelected
board,
in
corporate board,
2020,
corporate
would you
board.
respect the election?
Corporate board.
How many witnesses did they have?
I think the House had.
Democrats, yeah.
The House had.
14, right?
The House had a few witnesses.
And the Republicans did not want to hear the truth.
So I understand they voted by party lines, but in prior impeachments they also voted by party lines. Famously, Bill Clinton also wasn't removed; he was acquitted in the Senate, and they voted down the party lines then too.
You want to talk about Bill Clinton?
I want to talk about impeachment. Yeah.
Okay. Bill Clinton was morally incorrect. He did things that were immoral, but he did not screw the country. Trump is screwing the country, all of us, all us Americans.
How do you
That's
think
the
Trump's
difference.
screwing the country?
Oh, God. Okay, there's so many ways.
Just one off the top of your head.
Okay, he ruined our relationship with our allies. That's the biggest one. We're all interconnected. It's all one world. America isn't superior to other countries. We're equal. We're supposed to work together.
You don't think America is better than other countries?
No. No.
Not any other country. The United States, you don't think is better than some countries in South America,
We
the
don't
Middle
have
East?
a dictatorship yet.
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 But Trump was democratically elected. Do you accept the results of the 2016 election?
No.
Why not?
Because he won by the Electoral College, and Hillary won the popular vote. The Electoral College should totally be banned.
But isn't that based on what we have in the Constitution? So you don't like how our Constitution was founded? Those were the founding principles.
Okay, as I understand it, and I may be.
Why won't they let him talk
One
about
second.
the
Could you
history?
One second. You don't need a mansplain for it. Could you
no,
finish?
No. You see,
You're gonna
triggering
mansplain
things.
for
You
it?
were talking to me and you walked off while I was in mid-sentence. I'm not
You just
mansplaining to
interrupted
you.
my conversation. When I finish, we'll talk. Could you please finish?
She's mansplaining you nonstop with the thing.
He's mansplaining?
Look, they would have never written the
I didn't pick up on
Constitution
your
the way that it
mansplaining.
was with the imbalance of
So
the
I want to ask you
population.
one
They
last
would have
question.
never written it
So
that
you're
way.
against the Electoral College?
Yes, I am.
So if Trump wins in 2020 via the Electoral College, he's an illegitimate president.
Yes, he is.
And he's right now an illegitimate president because he won via the Electoral
Yes,
College.
he is.
Even though that's how it's written in our Constitution.
Well, our Constitution,
Is a living
okay,
document.
was is
It's a
what?
living document.
Our Constitution
Rules of the Constitution. That was all put in
was,
for the
I
slave
mean,
owners.
based in racism, and
Well, I
when
was in the
they
military.
had, I'm not real, like, you know, I'm educated about this, but when they did the electoral, you know, states, the Electoral College, they based it on the country, the
States,
people
right?
like that are not in cities. The people in cities are much more aware.
It was a
of
compromise.
issues.
It was a compromise institution to kind of unite the union. But just quickly in conclusion, was there anything else you wanted to?
Channel do you
It
work
says
for?
it says independent.
A troll.
What?
I don't know. He might be a troll. Yeah, we never know.
Was there anything else? Was there anything else you wanted to mention?
I want to mention
mention the fact that this demonstration is being pushed into the park, and the people.
Which outlet are you
One
with?
second. I said I'm independent already, so you could look at my press pass. What were you saying?
I said I want to know why the police have this demonstration pushed into the park, and the people on the sidewalk are the Trump supporters. Like, who did that?
I think they're trying to keep them separated.
I understand that, but they could have flipped it, you know?
Sure. Can I ask you, so Trump was acquitted by a vote of 52 to 48. Isn't it weird that you guys are out here after he was acquitted? Wouldn't it have been better to be here prior?
We were here Friday.
We've been here. I've been here before I was elected.
You were here before
I was going to say, I think a lot of us have been out a lot of times. I wish there had been a ginormous March on Washington, and I'm hoping that this will just be the beginning. Apparently, there are a lot of these around the country.
I know Trump just reached his highest approval rating at 49% right now. What do you think of his approval rating slowly chugging along there and climbing?
I think that people are remarkably ignorant. He's working on people becoming less and less educated.
Do you think Trump supporters are ignorant?
Well, I know some who are smart, but I think that they're voting with their pocketbook.
Interesting.
And the ones who otherwise support him really don't understand how bad he is making it for them.
At Trump's State of the Union address yesterday, he was touting things like the economy and how he was doing a lot of criminal justice reform. Do you think criminal justice reform and the economy are important things to vote on?
Absolutely, but I don't think that he is doing anything really to help criminal justice reform.
That was bipartisan support, both across the aisle.
I think criminal justice reform is really important.
Yeah.
I worked for that.
It's a good thing that Trump got done. If there's one thing, that's good, right?
If he's really done anything. If he's really done anything, which I have great doubts about whether he actually did anything besides claim that he did something.
Well, at the very least, he ran a Super Bowl ad about it. Quickly, in conclusion, anything else you want to mention?
YouTuber, he's a troll. I mean, I wouldn't bother.
Did you think any questions were trolly or not good? Or so anything else you want to mention?
Are you a troll?
No, I'm not. I'm a journalist. Was there anything else you wanted to mention?
Are you journalisting for a particular side of the...
Because
No,
why in
no,
the
I'm
world
not.
would you do that if you were a right-wing troll? Why would you do that?
Why do you think I'm a right-wing troll? Why are you
Because
saying that
that's-
about me? That's slander. Don't say those things about
that's
me.
what people
I'm a journalist. I don't care what people have to say. What do you think? Do you think I'm a troll?
Well, you don't appear to be, but
So there you go. You
appear
could-
to be very honest.
Well,
but
sorry.
I don't know.
I'm of the tribe, too, and I'm just wondering if you're one
Of the tribe? What do you mean?
You know what I mean. Eliyahu.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Well,
that tribe.
okay.
Okay.
So what?
So I do know that there are a lot of Orthodox Jews who support Trump, which makes me absolutely insane because he's not helping Israel. He's making things worse. And that's all I'm going to say.
Many Jews say there's a lot of anti-Semitism on the far left nowadays. Do you see any of that?
I see a lot of anti-Semitism on the far right, which is far worse.
I see a lot
And
of
those are the
anti-Semitism on the
people
far right. Look,
are
wait, listen.
shooting
I see a lot of
people.
anti-Semitism on the far right. Do you see any anti-Semitism on the far left? Any?
I think there's anti-Semitism everywhere.
Okay, but specifically also on the far left, is there any I said there's anti-Semitism on the far right. Will you say there's any anti-Semitism on the far left?
I would
Whether it be
say
Linda
on-
Sarsour or any of those
Linda
figures?
Sarsour is not an anti-Semite.
Okay, so are there any far left figures that you think are anti-Semitic?
There's probably one or two.
Absolutely.
It's anti-Semitic.
I think Linda Sarsour is anti-Semitic. I think Linda Sarsour is anti-Semitic. Ilhan Omar is anti-Semitic. Tamika Mallory is anti-Semitic. They had to step down. A couple of those had to step down from the Women's March because of charges of anti-Semitism. One second. Have you heard that Linda Sarsour and Tamika Mallory had to step down from the Women's March of charges of being anti-Semitic?
Yeah, but they're still involved, and they're not anti-Semites.
All right. Well, the Women's March thinks so.
I want to talk to you some more. What?
I need to go interview some other people. Was there anything else you want to say? Quickly.
What? No,
Anything?
I'm just curious what they did. I don't even know what.
Please look it up. Please look it up. Thank you. So I see you have a Democracy Dies sign. We're out here after the acquittal of Trump. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you're out here?
Yeah, because he shouldn't have been acquitted. Actually, I think he should have been convicted for treason, for inviting foreign interference in our elections. That's how democracy dies.
So I know if convicted of treason, he would be killed, because I think we have capital punishment for treason. Do you think that's like a reasonable thing to call for?
Well, I'm not in favor of capital punishment, so no.
But you think he should go to jail? Trump should go to
Yes,
jail for his
absolutely.
actions?
Yes, absolutely.
So we did see that he got acquitted, and you guys are out here after he got acquitted. Wouldn't it have been maybe a better move to do these protests prior?
Well, there have been a lot of protests prior to this, and I wasn't the organizing factor. I just, I wanted to add my voice to a protest that was already in motion.
So I know the sign says democracy dies. We get to vote again in November.
I also have a...
Reject Trump's enablers.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you about democracy dies. So if Trump gets reelected in 2020, because we have the election now in November, would that still be representative of the country here? Like, would you guys accept those results?
Depends if the election is fair.
And what do you mean by it depends on if the election was fair? Like, was 2016 fair?
No.
Why not?
There was foreign interference.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. But if Trump lost, would you still have said there was foreign interference? Like, so it wasn't an honest election?
If there's foreign interference, there's foreign interference regardless of who wins.
So right now he's already an illegitimate president then, right? Because in 2016 there was foreign interference, so he's already illegitimate.
No, he won by illegitimate means. But I wouldn't say that he's that. I mean, to say he's an illegitimate president is just...
That's a little bit too far.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Who do you want to see beat Trump in 2020?
I don't know yet.
You have no preference, nobody in mind?
I have a couple of people in mind, but I don't want to say anything yet.
Last question, State of the Union last night. What did you think of Trump's speech? Nancy Pelosi at the end ripped up his speech. What did you think about it?
I didn't watch the speech because I was very upset. I actually got a migraine. My husband wanted me to watch it with him, but I didn't. But I was very proud of Nancy Pelosi for ripping up the speech.
Absolutely. I know Democrats like to say that like they're the mature ones, Trump's a baby. Do you think that was a mature move by Nancy Pelosi to kind of rip up the speech at the end?
I think it was honest.
Absolutely. Anything else you wanted to mention?
No, vote them out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Who are you with?
So I'm independent. I have a YouTube channel. You can check me out. If you look up ELAD, you'll find me.
Elad?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
Elad. I'm glad you. People usually don't pronounce it so nicely, but you pronounced it very nicely. Thank you. I'll see you around. Hey everybody! Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode. I want to ask you, what did you think of the interviews I was able to get? Let me know in the comments. First time here, guys. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe.
Country!
Until next time, stay barely informed. I thought that said tranny. Guilty. Tyranny. Not tranny. That sign says tyranny. Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.